Hello, my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and it's time to nerd out about Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. Y'all knew Margaret had to do a review about the Batman book. I was super hyped when I got it in my CrateJoy crate. I will put a card up top so that you guys can see that unboxing, see all of the wonderful goodies that they put in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, they totally won me over. Like, I was going between Fairy Loot and OwlCrate, thinking maybe I'll get one of those subscriptions in a few months, but no, I am now saving my pennies for CrateJoy Crate. I am not a CrateJoy rep, by the way. I don't get free boxes from them. I'm gonna have to buy my boxes. However, I am looking into becoming a CrateJoy affiliate, which means that there will be a referral link down below. If you are thinking about getting any subscription crates and you look through CrateJoy and go through CrateJoy, I get a part of the profit. I think it is 15% of that comes to me. So if you're looking for a way to support me as a booktuber, that would be fantastic. If that's not your thing, no pressure. The important thing right now is the book. Let's talk about that because I know that's what you're here for. All right, so this is the second book in the DC Icon series, but I am going to be publishing a review for Wonder Woman Warbringer because I absolutely loved it. I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Now, that was a very strong 3 stars, like a 3.75 maybe, almost 4. And honestly, that, like, if it hadn't simply been personal preference, this would have been a 4-star book. But I'm very much an emotional reader. And so my rating has a lot to do with how I feel when I finish the book. This book takes place when, right after Bruce turns 18, he has just come into the trust fund that his parents left him. At the same time, there is a new serial killer coming up in Gotham. It is a group called the Nightwalker, and they've been going around murdering rich people and stealing all of their money and using it in their little terror campaign. They're basically saying that rich people are the reason Gotham is corrupt and horrible the way it is, which, if anyone's read Batman and you know who the Court of Owls are, you kind of have to agree with that. Bruce tries to help, well, he does help apprehend one of the Nightwalkers as they are getting away. However, he gets in the way of the police and crashes his car while doing so. So he is sentenced to community service at Arkham Asylum. Great place for Bruce Wayne to be, guys, right? Right. In the course of him helping them, basically doing like janitorial duties and stuff, which, if you know Bruce, he's not above that. Through that, he ends up meeting one of the Nightwalkers who is being held at Arkham Asylum after they were caught at the scene of a murder. Plot was A+. I loved the plot of this book. It was a classic Batman plot. If you've read any Batman, you're gonna feel right at home in this book. I know I felt right at home. Like, Gotham City is like coming home for me. So, I mean, despite the Joker and Poison Ivy and the Riddler and all of that craziness, you know what? We're gonna put this here so I can talk with my hands, both hands. Now I have Bruce on one shoulder, Bruce on the other shoulder. This isn't weird at all. All right, so this was like a classic Batman plot. Like, even though he never puts on the cape or the cowl, because this is before he is a superhero, that's what this whole DC Icons thing is. It's kind of like before they become the hero that they're gonna become. He's Bruce, he's a meddler, something happens in Gotham, and he's gotta stick his nose in it. I don't think he hasn't quite at this point figured out how he wants to help Gotham. He just knows he wants to make Gotham a better place. How you go from that to jumping off of rooftops on Gotham, I'm not sure, but I'm not going to argue with it because it's giving me one of my favorite characters. I won't say that it was a particularly, like, unpredictable plot. I think I was always a couple steps ahead of what was going on. But I'm not going to say that that was like a bad thing because I'm usually a couple of steps ahead. I'm not very often surprised. That's why books that do surprise me, I make such a big deal about. The characters were great. Bruce was spot on. Alfred was spot on for the little bit that we got to see of him. You got to see some familiar faces. Like, well, you got to see 2 familiar faces. I won't tell you who they were, especially since one of the surprises in this book is one of those familiar faces. I kind of squealed a little bit at the end of the book when they introduced one of the characters. No, it wasn't Selena. I was so sad that Selena was not in this. I'm shipping trash, guys. You just have to accept it. I am shipping trash. And I want my ships in everything. I really felt like Marie Lu nailed the characters that she had. She did come up with a couple that were really interesting, like newer characters that we don't see in the Batman mythology. So that was interesting. I will have stuff to say about that later when we get into the spoiler section. Honestly, I feel like it was really, really good right up until the very end when she kind of lost me. And I'm not going to discuss how, but I felt that the Bruce I know would be in a little bit different place than he was in at the end of this book. There were two sticking points. That's one of them. The other one was I just felt like the romance felt a little bit too, and you know me, I love my romance. And I went into this knowing it wasn't going to be Selena. And so I was like, okay, this will be cool. But I felt like it was maybe a little too familiar with the romance. In Wonder Woman, it didn't feel like, it felt like a little bit of a twist on something you knew. This didn't feel like a twist. This felt very, very much like it should have just been a different character altogether. I'm not going to rant about it yet because there are spoilers involved and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. She did a fantastic job. I think if it wasn't for that that romance element, I would have given it a 4 stars. I feel like if we had had just a little bit, like it had just not been quite so similar to other romances in his life, I would have given it 4 stars, hands down. It was never going to be a 5-star book because Selena was not in it. So I was never going to love it as much as I love, like, Batman. All in all, good book. I would recommend it. If you are a Batman fan, definitely would recommend it. I'm doing a really bad job of, like, hyping this book because I did like it. I enjoyed, for the most part, everything but the last 2 chapters. And I feel like that was a personal thing and that people who are more casual Batman fans probably won't be as bugged by it. If you have read the book, go ahead and stay where you are. I'm going to talk a little bit about spoilers and go into some more in-depth thoughts. If you have not and you don't mind spoilers and you're curious as to what bugged me, you can stick around as well. If you would rather avoid spoilers though, I would peace out until you'd read the book and then definitely come back and watch the rest of this video. See if you agree with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you check out, by the way. That would be very much appreciated if you enjoyed any part of this or if you found it helpful. Much appreciated. My links will be below if you would like to check me out on any other social media. And with that, those of you that have not read the book are free to go. And for those of you that have read the book, let's get into it. Like I said, it was a very like Batman plot. The Nightwalkers were a very Batman bad guy. They were the kind of bad guy that you see in Gotham all the time, like an underground group that's trying to accomplish something. They're a little bit more. They were not as madcap as some of the Batman baddies that people know. Like they were definitely not like the Riddler or Poison Ivy or the Joker or the Penguin or I realize I'm listing everyone who was on the episode of Gotham that I watched last night. They're not like Kite Man. Let's put Kite Man in there because that is the best inside joke ever. If you know it, you know if you know. I really genuinely liked the Nightwalkers as a general bad guy. Like, I liked that, and then it kind of fell apart for me, though, in the character of Madeline. Listen, like, I was fine with Madeline being Bruce's romantic interest. Like, when I went into the book, I was fine with it. I knew that was what was going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to last, because he's marrying the love of his life, Selena Kyle, in the comics. So, we knew, like, she was going to be here and there and gone. But the thing that bugged me about it, was that her story and Selena's were so very similar. Madeline is covering for someone in the book. Like, through the whole course of the book, she is covering for someone. And, like, Selena literally has just done the exact same thing in the comics, like, last year. I don't know if she read the recent comics or not. I just would have liked to see a different sort of romance. I would have liked to be not so open-ended. I would have liked a clean break. Whether it was that she stayed dead or that, like, she escaped and he, like, because that's what Bruce does. Like, people hurt him and Bruce, like, pulls away from everyone. Not currently because he has grown. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of my most problematic child. He has done so much growing in the last couple of years. I never thought we would be where we are with Bruce Wayne, guys. I never thought we'd be there. But no, we have a wedding coming, and that's not what this video is about. I'm so sorry, guys. We're talking about Batman, and they just released their wedding attire. So I'm still freaking out about that. Still freaking out a little bit. I'm so happy. Like, I don't even know. I just... That's not what we're here for. This is not what we're here for. I also would have liked to see him a little closer to, like, closed off grumpy Bruce Wayne. at the end of the book, because if you follow the comic book canon, he like basically leaves for school and does not come back until he is trained enough to be Batman. So his college education was basically going off to learn to be Batman. So I feel like he would have made that decision by the end of this book. Bruce has always been a very like driven, focused character to the detriment of the people around him a lot of the time. And we didn't see, I would have liked to see more of that at the end of the book. The one thing I was happy to see at the end, and this is so embarrassing, if you remember, we don't see any of Jim Gordon until the end of the book, and like, she introduces him, and I was not expecting that. Like, I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, because we're in Gotham, so of course, we are gonna see Jim Gordon. And I just, like, this made the weirdest, like, kind of squawking, cheering noise. I was just like, ah! And that was me noticing, you know, it was embarrassing, and I was very glad that no one was in the room with me, even though I just recreated it for y'all. So now it's on the internet forever, and I fangirl over stupid stuff. I would have liked to see more characters from Gotham. I did understand with Wonder Woman why we didn't have a lot of characters that were familiar. It's because, you know, of the storyline and what they were doing, and I think I talk about that in my video for that one. I don't know if I did, but I would have liked to see a few more familiar faces. We saw Harvey Tent, which was fun. I was happy to see Harvey. Oh, Harvey's storyline was really good. I really did like, I mean, like, at the end when he reported his dad for child abuse, I was just like, oh yes, I'm so proud of you right now. It won't last long, but I'm so proud of you right now. Harvey is one of those because he has that split that, you know, there's a part of him that does not want to be doing what he's doing. And it just depends what part ends up on top. And so I've always enjoyed storylines with Harvey and storylines where his better nature wins out. I don't understand why we had Diane when we had so many other characters that we could have done. We could have done Silver State Cloud. I would have liked to see one of the things that I would have liked would have been a secondary romance. That's part of why Wonder Woman worked so well for me, because there was a secondary romance that was not dependent on Diana at all that I really enjoyed. I would have liked to see that in this. But I would have liked to see, instead of her name being Diana, I would have liked to see it be Gilda, possibly Gilda Dent, because we know that Harvey and Gilda get married, and then chaos ensues later. It's not the happiest marriage. Overall, like, the pacing was great. Like, it just kept me turning pages. I did not want to put it down. Like, I was thoroughly engrossed in, like, the mythos of who the Nightwalkers were. Like, and it's really, like, the Nightwalkers were a really, really good villain to have, like, in Gotham. You understood why they were the way they were and what they wanted and why they were hurting people. Like, you understood that, even if maybe they weren't going about it, well, not maybe, even though they were not going about it the right way, you understood their motivation. That was really good. I did really like Madeline's motivations made sense. They did make sense. Like, I liked Madeline as a character. I would have liked the structure of her storyline to be a little different. I do like that she kept that theme of, almost every Batman villain can be traced back to some injustice, in some way. And so I like that she kept that theme. That was really good. Because that is one of the key themes of Batman's, like, that's always kind of been part of Batman's mythology. Or maybe not always, because I haven't read, I think the latest the earliest I've read of Batman is like in the 80s. There are some that let's pretend like that never happened. I've seen some very awkward stuff that's very dated. Those are my thoughts on Batman Nightwalker. I really did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, I don't feel like my money was wasted or anything. I'm quite happy that I have it and I liked it. Like I said, I think if it hadn't have been for the fact that I am such a huge Gotham fan and that I feel that Gotham is doing young Bruce Wayne such a good job, like, I mean, like, she had a really high bar to hit. Like, it was an almost impossibly high bar to hit. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Also, you can subscribe. I would love to see you here on a regular basis. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am the word nerd with a 3 in nerd instead of an E. And if you would be so kind as to check out my blog, www.thewordnerd.com. Again, nerd has a 3 instead of the E. I talk about reading and writing on that blog. That's where I post all of my monthly wrap-ups and any updates that I have about the book that I am currently working on writing that will someday see the light of day. eventually. That's it for now, guys. I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!